Yesterday was an absolutely stunning result for the Democrats and pretty much everyone, perhaps marking a fundamental shift in the direction that the Democratic Party goes in response to losing to Trump a second time. Zohran Mamdani ran an impressive grassroots campaign that culminated in a shocking, decisive victory over former governor and political nepo baby Andrew Cuomo. Despite Cuomo's impressive defense that he's not a pervert, he's just Italian, the man wasn't able to bully his political career back to life and earn the Democratic nomination. Now, the fact that Mamdani is an open Democratic socialist has sent shockwaves across the establishment of both parties, but no one is taking it as hard as Donald Trump. Despite the Republicans pretending to be ecstatic about running against a socialist, it's clear that they're bluffing, as none of them have any experience running against an actual socialist. Here's what Trump tweeted. "It's finally happened. The Democrats have crossed the line. Zohran Mamdani, a 100% communist lunatic, has just won the Democratic primary and is on his way to becoming mayor. We've had radical lefties before, but this is getting a little ridiculous. He looks terrible." Well, that's how we know he's lying. Trump is just jealous. His voice is grating. He's not very smart. He's got AOC plus 3 dummies all backing him. And even our great Palestinian senator crying Chuck Schumer, insane that he's still using Palestinian as a slur, is groveling over him. Yes, this is a big moment in the history of our country. And that wasn't the only tweet he fired off. Here's another. "I have an idea for the Democrats to bring them back into play. After years of being left out in the cold, including suffering one of the greatest losses in history, the 2024 presidential election," that's honestly true. There's nothing more devastating than having Trump be our president again. "The Democrats should nominate low IQ candidate Jasmine Crockett for president, and AOC plus 3 should be, respectively, vice president, and the 3 high-level members of the cabinet, added together with our future communist mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, and our country is really screwed. Now there's an idea for you. Hear that, AOC? Donald Trump just endorsed you for president." But we can only imagine the fear-mongering that's about to come now that this prestigious nomination was won by a leftist who's unafraid to admit that they don't have corporate interests at heart. Now, of course, the general isn't until November, and Cuomo could still run on the independent line, but having the Dem nomination places Mamdani safely in the lead. The current mayor and Democrat Party traitor, Eric Adams, wasted no time getting on Fox News to bash his own alleged party and, of course, suggesting people vote for him, fear-mongering about such scary promises as baby baskets to newborns and free buses.
He wants to freeze the rent. He wants city-run grocery stores, social workers to replace the police because that's going to help. He wants $60 billion of debt fund for affordable housing. He wants free buses, no cost for childcare, baby baskets for newborn, and a $30 minimum wage. How can someone vote for this?
He's a snake oil salesman. He will say and do anything to get elected. Think about this for a moment. He wants to raise 1%. He wants to raise tax on 1% of New Yorkers' high-income earners. As the mayor, you don't have the authority to do that. You know who has the authority to do that? An assemblyman, which he is. He wants to do free buses. He could have done it at assemblyman. He doesn't understand the power of government and how you must making sure you improve your economy, raise the standard of living, and this is what we've done in the city. And I'm looking forward to being on the campaign trail and showing New Yorkers we can't go backwards.
These Democrats, like Eric Adams, tell us that policies such as free public transportation, affordable childcare, and a stabilized housing market are unrealistic and fanciful, that anyone offering anything with the label free is a snake oil salesman, ignoring that free is often the deal that corporations get in the form of no taxes. And free is how Eric Adams finds himself despite being a clear criminal. Rules for thee, but not for me, the creed of the Republican Party. And just check out some of the responses from these conservatives who are losing their minds at the idea of socialist policies being popular. Conservative loser Ryan Selkis says, "It would be better to have rampant racism and a thriving republic than multicultural socialism. Every honest man knows this is true, they just don't have the balls to say it, but I am here to light the way." You're here, hopefully, to light your own balls on fire. Trump's future fourth wife, if she plays her cards right, Laura Loomer, said, "There will be another 9/11 in NYC, and Zohran Mamdani will be to blame." This is an absolutely insane take, and I've seen it elsewhere on the internet because it sets up the stage to blame Mamdani for any kind of attack on New York City, even domestic terrorist attacks from white supremacists, I bet, basically telling their crazed followers to attack New York City. Surf, a large conservative account, posted this: "These are not Americans," with Mamdani on the left here, and Vivek Ramaswamy on the right, who's a Republican. These people were so triggered at the idea of a brown man winning a Democratic election that they started throwing their own under the bus. But it's not just the conservatives who are losing their minds over this. Centrists are also having a hard time defending a Democrat who isn't capitalistic. It didn't take long for other state officials to lambast Mamdani and to parrot the Republican line that this victory will make Trump's future wins even easier, an argument that I personally think has very little evidence to support it.
On that, if you look at the other side of the aisle, what Republicans are saying, particularly in New York, they're loving this. Just not necessarily as the mayor of New York, but just on their political good fortune, the way that they see it. Elise Stefanik, who is a member of the House Republican congressional delegation, potentially somebody who will run for governor in New York, said the following: "Kathy Hochul, the worst governor in America, you just got a communist anti-Semite elected as the Democrat nominee for mayor in New York City. You have refused to disavow his dangerous rhetoric and policies, and you will be held accountable by New Yorkers. And mark my words, Kathy Hochul, we are going to fire you in 2026 to save New York." Okay, so that's
potentially running for
the Republican side. But this is important. And this is, we just got this from Congresswoman Laura Gillen. Now, she is a Democrat representing New York. She unseated a vulnerable Republican. Again, this is a fellow Democrat who just said the following: "Socialist Zohran Mamdani is too extreme to lead New York City. His entire campaign has been built on unachievable promises and higher taxes, which is the last thing New York needs. Beyond that, Mr. Mamdani has called to defund the police and has demonstrated a deeply disturbing pattern of unacceptable anti-Semitic comments, which stoke hate at a time when anti-Semitism is skyrocketing. He is the absolute wrong choice for New York."
Well, there is reason for Democrats to be worried. Donald Trump gained significantly on Kamala Harris in November, including in New York City, which of course is this huge blue stalwart. So there is reason for people like her to be concerned about that trend. But at the same time, you have Mamdani, who really talked about some of these economic issues that Trump was so good at, really appealing to working class voters. And that was something that Harris really struggled with. He's talking about rent freezes. He's talking about raising the minimum wage. Those are things that she didn't necessarily fully commit to. So I think that is a real opening for him. But at the same time, we still have to see how he performs in the general. You have Eric Adams still running as an independent. Cuomo's opening the door potentially to running as an independent. So I'm really watching that election.
This is amazing. And to his great credit, I really want to say, because I think a lot of people don't know him yet, he's a very smart, incredibly hardworking guy who's got some vision. He's actually got some passion. He's got some vision. And that's what people are responding to. It's interesting. Cuomo attempted a kind of fear-based campaign, kind of Trumpian in my view, telling people there were all these dangers around them in New York City and they needed a strong man. Whereas Mamdani said, we have to do something very different in this city. We have to address affordability in a whole new way. And people felt it. They heard it. And they emotionally responded. And that you saw this stunning turnout, especially in the early vote and with younger voters. Kitchen table issues. Zohran talked about affordability all day long. Not these stereotypes that Democrats lost in social issues, one thing or another. He focused on free bus service. He focused on childcare. He focused on rent and how to lower rents. And that's what people wanted to hear about. I would argue, Pam, if our Democratic leaders in 2024 had such message discipline and such a focus on affordability, we actually could have beaten Donald Trump.
What's crazy is that de Blasio is right. The reason why Democrats have like a 20-something approval rating right now is not because they're too woke, despite the conservatives yelling that from the mountaintops. The reality is that centrism has started to eat the Democratic Party. And this win clearly shows that the people are thirsty for good policies. The truth is that while it was a common talking point from Trump that Kamala and Biden are socialists, there's no evidence proving that those talking points were convincing for anyone. Kamala and Biden are not socialists. They did not platform socialist policies. They did not lose voters due to unpopular socialist policies. In fact, the socialist policies that Biden absorbed after Bernie dropped out in 2020 were some of the most popular policies that he had. Things like forgiving student loans and climate change protections. The truth is, Mamdani won, not because he's younger than Cuomo, but because he was genuine and his policies are popular. He had a bottom-up approach to building his agenda, knocking on over 1 million doors and asking constituents what their biggest issues are that they face in their day-to-day lives, and then building a platform based on those issues. Folks are tired of being told that we're asking for too much. We are tired of being told that there just isn't enough money. We're tired of working more than ever, but not being able to afford what we used to. The Democrats are at an impasse here. Will they champion the interests of the people or corporations masquerading as people? Time will tell, but I, for one, am excited someone like Mamdani is forcing the conversation. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.